Ireland's Classic Hits Radio. Mary Byrne is on the phone. Oh, Mary, I just thought of you straight away when I heard about Liam Payne.
I know. I'm in shock myself. I'm all over the place. We were sitting having dinner when the news came in, and just burst into tears. I haven't seen the child for years, and I just burst into tears.
Oh, Mary.
It was like, he was like my little
like
son.
The mammy. I always remember you talking, because they were in the XFactor house the same time as you.
Yeah.
And you really looked after them, didn't you?
I did, and they looked after me. That was the gas thing. They used to give me a hug every morning, and when I was feeling down missing my daughter, they would always be there to say, them and the girls,
Yeah.
It's incredible. It's incredible to think that this young life is gone.
Oh, so young, 31, life ahead of him. And we don't know the circumstances, and I'm sure we'll hear that over the next while. But as a person, Liam Payne, you were saying, he was always the sensible one, the one. Because I guess, he knew what he wanted from a very young age. He went on the XFactor at 14 and then tried it again, didn't he? He
did. He went on the XFactor when he was 2 years later, then 16. That's when 2010 happened.
Yeah.
And he was and to hear his voice on that interview, on both of those interviews, especially the second one, was incredible for a young man at 16. Yeah. So he had a great talent, and then to get that as far as he got, I was delighted for him when he got. I remember the phone call he made to his dad when he was told he wasn't going in solo, he was going into a band, and the excitement in his father's voice on the other end of the phone and in his, it was just, and it's sad to think that joy went out of him over the years. And mental health took over. It's just horrible.
It's a very difficult, tricky job to have, especially when you start very young as well, though, isn't it? I mean...
It is. It's a hard business.
Oh, you've never probably worked a job even in your life, and next thing, you have all this fame and fortune, and everybody wants a piece of you, and it's very difficult.
And you don't know who to trust outside your family.
No.
And this is what I always said to the young kids in the house. And I always said it, and listen, I felt, I came into the business quite late in life, that side of the business, and I found that I didn't know whether people wanted me for me, or whether they wanted me to use me, and I still get that sometimes, people looking at you and wanting to know you. Do they want to know you because you're Mary Byrne, or do they want to know you because they like you as a person? And you can imagine what that's like for a young child who thinks everybody wants to be part of them. And all they want to do is use them.
You would have had, so people that would have maybe walked past you when you were working on the checkouts in Tesco's, and now now they're like, oh, I know her. Do you know?
Yeah, and it still happens. I was coming through the airport yesterday when we were on our way to Spain, and a couple of Welsh people recognised me, and I can't believe they recognised me, to be honest with you, especially, the Welsh. And this girl came over and she's screaming into my face, please, can I have a photograph? And you're standing there going, oh, for God's sake, it's 16 years or 15 years since the XFactor, and these people still want to photograph with you. So you can imagine what it's like for younger people.
And at the height of the One Direction, I think I was
worldwide.
His Instagram, so I think he's something like 50 million followers. 50 million! I can't even fathom that kind of number.
No, me neither.
Yeah,
I thought I was great with 100 and something.
Yeah.
No,
Mary, it's absolutely devastating. I know Ollie Murs and everybody's been tweeting about it. I met him twice, actually. So we met him in studio before they even released a single, and the crowds were outside the studio waiting for him. I don't know how the girls found out that he was there. And then I also met them going over to Wembley, because they were announcing gigs over there at the start of their career. This was a massive thing, and they were lovely chaps. I'm sure Niall is going to be hugely affected by this, because obviously Liam only went over to Argentina last week to see Niall's show.
That's right, yeah. And then he had his girlfriend with him as well, and she left early. So I'd say Niall is very upset over it, because Niall's a good kid as well. And Niall, they all... You see, the thing with Liam is, I don't know this is what happened to him, but his career was slower coming up than the other two lads. So he could have taken that bad, or he just had mental health through his life. I don't know. He never came across, when I was with him, as having those problems. He came across as a strong, an old soul. He had his head on his shoulders. And to think that he's gone from being that, he knew what he wanted to something that just took him.
We don't know. I mean, Mary, even at this stage, it may have been an accident. He may have just fallen. We actually don't know.
I think he fell. He could have been leaning over the balcony and just went.
You just don't know.
You don't know. You don't
Mary,
know.
I just wanted to give you a quick buzz to say we're thinking of you today, because I know you were quite close to him, and it's awful. It's awful to be getting calls from the media in these circumstances.
Listen,
this is what happens, isn't it?
But I understand that as well, and I swear this on my mother and father, I'm grieving for that child. Now, not in the way I would grieve for my own child, but I feel as if I've just lost a little part of me that I got to know.
his
that's the hard
parents
part.
and his family.
Yeah,
God love
yeah,
them
and
today.
his little baby, you know.
His baby, his little boy that he had with Cheryl Cole. Yes, of course.
And then she must be feeling it too, because regardless of the breakup and all that, like, they were still co-parenting with their kid.
He's still the father
So that's
of her
not
child.
going to be easy on her, you know.
Yeah.
And she's a big softie as well.
I know. Tragic. Mary, thank you. Thanks so much for answering us today. And hopefully we'll be talking to you in happier circumstances next time.
Please God.
Thanks a million, Mary. See you now.
Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Mary Byrne there on Ireland's Classic Hits Radio.